Howdy, Beefalo Bart here. Just a few free-flowing thoughts on what I think should be implemented in the division. Now that we're going into Season 2, we look around the map, there's a lot of stuff that could be used and places that could be used that's just totally ignored. And I think going into Year 2, there needs to be some new content. And even though I'm not the biggest fan of player versus player, well, mostly because I'm getting old and I just don't have the coordination sometimes to keep up with the younger generations. You look here, you got Central Park. Big wasted area. All this space up north, even though they added in a new area to the dark zone, it does nothing for me. You just got too many douche nozzles that want to ruin the entire experience of the dark zone. You got all the areas over here on the docks, on the west side. You look at those, there's no way to really access them. They put blocks up to keep you from getting into those areas. And the same way all the way around the map. And as you'll see later in the video, there's a spot where, I'm just trying to walk normally and cross over an obstacle, and I get, you'll see. All this side on the east side, but you notice out here in the river, there's an island, and there's an overlap of buildings for some reason. There's ships out in the harbor. All those can be taken into account as places that would be awesome for like a team deathmatch or just a deathmatch in general where it's everybody versus everybody. It's just like one of the old standby modes is capture the flag. You got team deathmatch and you got deathmatch. I mean, yeah, sure, there's a modified version of capture the flag in Last Stand, but we need something for everybody. And I think those modes being brought in would be great. You look right here in this particular park. This will be a great place for either of those modes, any of those modes. Capture the flag, team deathmatch, or just regular deathmatch. I mean, all you'd have to do is just block off the entrance ways to this one corner. It's the only way in and out is through that one spot. But as you look around, there's countless areas for cover. You can take cover behind all the different crates and canisters and barrels and all kinds of equipment and so forth. You've got the dugout areas. Not sure what they were planning to do with that, with maybe mass graves or whatever, but you've got the crosswalks over the top of them that act like bridges. The above ground and below ground player versus player combat is just, I think, would be outstanding. You can imagine running around these trying to play against other players, and nobody really uses cover in PvP and Division anyway. But you do have plenty of cover you could use if you needed to. You're still going to have your rushers, your people throwing seekers and turrets and so forth, but that's part of the fun of it. If you can't get through, you can always go over the top and get back above ground. There's still enough cover for you to be able to move to get from one side to another to flank your opponents and whatnot. So, you just look around. Feel free to go on your version of the game and do the same thing, but, I'm just going to walk around here and show all the different stuff that's here. But, there's no reason not to be able to utilize this. All they have to do is just clone this area and put it in a separate instance of the world. Using this corner here, all four corners would be ideal for spawn points. If you're going to do team-based, then, the one side or the other, Team A would have two corners and Team B would have two corners. There's enough cover in the corners to where you're obscured whenever you do spawn to hopefully deter a little bit of the spawn camping, but, what good is it going to do to spawn camp if, there's always a chance that the team's just not going to spawn from this corner. Instead of being in this corner, they could be back over by the start corner or whatever. The playground equipment's good to hide behind, the construction equipment. There's just so many possibilities for this area that is not being exploited by the dev staff. Got a great idea. Just hire me to be the creative content director and you wouldn't have all this problem. I've done it for World of Warcraft private servers. I've, created content for several of the, at one time, top servers, and it was pretty fun and pretty lucrative. You're utilizing areas that everybody just knows and is bored to death with, and creating a new purpose for that area. And that's what I'm proposing here. utilizing this park and other parks and other areas of the maps to be utilized for new modes. So, I think going into year 2, what are they going to do? What else can they add to the game that would actually make it worth continuing to play into the second year? Everybody's either doing Last Stand or they're doing Underground, which has been buggy lately, and a lot of Dark Zone. This is another area of this same park. You even got a subway system here, so you can actually utilize that underground area, which I'll explore that in just a moment. But as you see, there's multiple entrances to that subway system scattered around the map. I believe there's 3, if not 4, different ways to get in and out of that subway system. 2 on either side of the map. And this is actually a different park now, but same principle applies to it. All you'd have to do is put a couple buses that are already there, add a couple more, use them as barricades because you can't climb the bus. But Union Square, this park right here, is probably one of the coolest, I think, would be for a team deathmatch type experience. Put a bus right here or something else in this span to block out the exit. Keep people from leaving the area or whatever, just confining people to this zone. Even if you did a different mode, like capture and defend based, or attack and defend, that would work great on this because you've got the large monument over here that you got 2 different levels on. Now this is what really annoyed the crap out of me. Hop over a fence and I go directly on what? A pallet. And it caused me to have this error and get the game to reload. What happens? It spawns you right back in the same pile again, and it causes me to respawn one more time. And what does it do? It spawns you back in again, and luckily this time I was able to roll out of it, but really? Come on. How retarded is that? But anyway, this monument here, people could either be defending it, the other team have to come into the area and capture something, maybe throw a couple automated turrets, whatever, just to spice up the game. You can get up here, you got multiple windows come in and out of. Why there's a server farm in here, I don't know, but try defending this area from people popping in and out all over the map. You got the rooftop, you can put your snipers or support weapons or whatever you want up top. And you can get on top on both sides, but you can't get up in the top in the middle, which kind of bugs me. Maybe throw a couple extra crates here to where you could actually get up on top. Throw some other things just to have a little bit higher vantage point. But even without, it limits having too much of an advantage for snipers. Yeah, doesn't my character look so sexy? This is my original D3 character, right? D3 FNC or defense or frontline, whatever you want to call it. Just all around fun build set to work with, and utilizing the Barrett's chest and 4-piece D3 FNC. I forget what I'm using for a pack there, but you can see you got just enough vantage point to where you can control certain parts of the map, but you don't have God's eye view where it just ruins the experience. So I would like to go over here in just a moment and start exploring the underground area, just to kind of showcase that even if you didn't utilize it, you could shove a truck down inside there or piles of boxes or whatever to keep you from getting in. But I think keeping the underground section of it really just makes this into a really cool map to have for player versus player, or capture the flag, or seize and defend, or whatever you want to call that mode. Team deathmatch, even just a regular deathmatch mode where it's everybody versus everybody. Come down here just to explore and have a good time and show off your map. And there's always got to be a couple of Rikers or somebody just screwing up the fun for everybody. And don't mind my bad shooting right here. And kind of weird choice in scopes too. I don't play this character as much as I used to, and not sure why I got this scope still on there. but it's good enough to get the job done with, I guess. Damage is kind of low on it for some reason, but build was mainly focused towards kind of a neutral build, mixed across the board. So it's not real heavy in firearms, not real heavy in electronics. It's kind of a good survivable mix. Okay, this is another way out of the subway system, but it keeps you right inside the park. All the ways in and out of the subway and underground area are inside this park, so that helps you to keep everything flowing together to where there's no getting out of bounds with it. And if there is, I just haven't found it yet, and it'd be simple just to block it off. And once again, this would be a separate instant area from the normal gameplay area, so that it could be used for this type of game modes. Sit down, fool. So that's just my thoughts on this. It's a really good park, really good, I guess you could call, playground for any kind of player versus player. It doesn't have to be PvP. You could also utilize the same area and areas like it for cooperative missions, where it's something like a incursion, I guess you could say, but it would be similar along the same lines of just a co-op version of the team deathmatch. Small sized area, a lot of really big bad guys, a few bosses thrown in here and there, some good loot drops. Make it worthwhile going into and doing it even in a cooperative mode for people who just don't get into player versus player. So I think that would be a good way to utilize this area too, is have it for PvP, but also have it for cooperative. It's a short, fast version of an incursion. Instead of spending God knows how long trying to find a decent team of just random guys or gals, or trying to coordinate your own team of friends, and which I don't have any. Those are kind of expensive pets, kind of like kids. But it's just wasted to have so much potential in the game and to not be utilizing it. There's rumors of a Division 2 coming out, and also just letting Season 2 run out and not doing anything with the game. There's a lot of possibilities that could end negatively for the game, but by keeping content fresh and usable, things that people will actually do and like doing, and give them a reason to keep coming back, even if it's for random pickup groups, pugs, it would still make it worthwhile going to, because you can get a few set pieces or maybe an exotic for completing it if it was a really difficult player versus environment or PvE map, or in you think about it, the esports value. What value does this game have in any value of esports? You take the same PvP modes, like I discussed. You're looking at people bringing in every kind of gear imaginable. So have several different modes, where one is just like Last Stand, where you come in and you bring in whatever gear you got and you're playing with your gear set. Okay, that's great. But what about people who don't really have a good gear set and they feel that it's unbalanced? Another little stupidity thing of the game. When you look at survival, when you start off in survival, you're essentially a level 30, but you're with no gear. You start off with a basic pistol, and that's it. You actually have to find gear around the map. Well, that could be along the same lines, but instead of having armor, you just find different weapons, and they don't have to be spectacular. You don't need anything spectacular. You want everybody to have kind of an even basis. Maybe throw a sniper out, maybe throw an assault rifle out, submachine gun, shotgun, pistol, random supply boxes with grenades, or regular ammo supply boxes, things like that. Well, that's just my thoughts so far, and seems like I've run out of video here, so we'll stop it here. And please leave us some comments on it.